Hey y'all, looks like if you can hear me, Facebook is wonking up the direction of things again. I'm here with you with very little plan and a whole bunch of just wanting to do something. So I'm not sure if you let me try to pick this up a little bit. See that chair? That's what I'm going to be working on. That filthy thing there was in, I guess that's as straight as it goes, was in we bought some land that had an old mobile home on it, and this was in there, and that was probably 12, 13 years ago, and it's been in my husband's barn, like I'm not even in the barn, behind the barn since then. It's got this big old crack in the seat, but I love that big old crack in the seat. So I'm not going to try to hide that. I'm going to try to like embrace that, but this thing is filthy. So the first thing I'm doing, and I just got back from lunch and said, you know what, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to, by golly, paint that chair. That's really what I want to do today. So somewhere around here I got myself a glove, but I've lost it. So here's another one of them things. I'm going to show you where I'm going to do it, but don't do it. So I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but I'm using Dixie Belle White Lightning, which is a TSP based cleaner. And it says to put 2 teaspoons in a gallon of water. And I don't have a gallon of water. I have this pitcher that was back there in the sink, and it's probably got a little less than a half gallon in it, so I put about a teaspoon in there. And I am wanting to, there are decades of dust and grime and stuff on this chair, so it has to be done. So I figured out we would see how that worked together, and it looks like underneath, this is rough, looks like underneath all of that dust was some overspray from some spray paint. I ain't worrying about that either, because I doubt anybody's going to love this crack as much as I do. But I'm going to make good use of it, and I'm wanting to get this clean so the paint will adhere. And I'm thinking in my mind that there's somebody out there who these colors in this chair is going to speak to, and they're going to want it on their front porch or something like that. This is not going to be anybody's favorite dining room chair, I don't think. I had thought there would be some kind of cute saying we could put on it and let it be for like kids who are in trouble, like the chair, like to go time out. That's what they call it, to time out in. I don't even know if people time out anymore. But timeout was a thing when my kids were little. It wasn't very effective, so if they don't do it anymore, I wouldn't be surprised. But this is a very old chair, so somebody may want to refinish it again to its original beauty after I get done doing what I'm going to do to it, and that's fine too, because it takes all kinds of us. But right now, my biggest concern is getting off these piles of dust so that I can slap some paint on here, and let's see how fast we can have a new chair. That's what's on my mind, to tell you the truth. How fast can I have a new chair? We have had so many people in here getting paint and stuff in the last couple of days. There must be a million new projects going on, and right now every woman alive must feel just like me. It's time to refresh and renew. You would think that would happen in the spring, but it seems like it's happening more in the fall, and people are just wanting things to, they're ready for it, tired of being hot and cooped up in the house, and ready to have things looking new and different. Okay, look at that. So it's actually not very wet, but I'm gonna, probably should wipe right there. And I don't know if I did the very top. Did that. There's some, well, I knocked that off. I was thinking that was some mud that was stuck to it, you know, like you fix stuff with. What do you, drywall mud or whatever. This is that heat gun I borrowed from my husband, and he warned me about. I think this thing will strip the finish off of stuff if you get it too close. But what I'm just wanting to do is dry it a little bit. If I was worried about this having a really good, perfect finish afterward, I would have rinsed the White Lightning. This is going to be a distressed piece, and I'm not worried about it. So I'm just moving forward. Let me show you something else cool I did. This is from yesterday, one of my chip brushes from doing the pumpkins. There's only 2 of those left. They're all sold too. But anyways, I cut one of them off real short, and I grabbed this stencil that I paid $1.99 for at Tuesday morning. We're going to put this stencil on here later. But I wanted to get a... This is what color this is. I've not opened any of these. This was a spur of the moment thing. This is called Stormy Seas, which is like a blue-gray color. And I'm fixing to slap some on this baby is what I'm fixing to do. I'm going to use this color all over with the exception of the right-hand side where this is broken. I'm just going to do it in a different color. We had some cracks in the walls and the plaster of this old building that we're in here. I painted vines on them. I believe you just love the character of things. So I don't know which brush to use. I've never used this brush, so this is what I'm going to try. This is the new Dixie Belle, I don't know what you call it, artificial. It's not real hair. I'm going to move this because I'm afraid I'm going to dip my paintbrush in this bucket of cleaner in a minute. Okay. I've dampened my brush. Don't even know if I was supposed to. And here we go. I'm going to be stenciling on this seat, so I'm going to try to get it first so that it can already be drying. Ordinarily, you would probably think go from the top down. But other than I'm not ordinary, wanting the seat to be dry so that I can put a stencil on it in a minute. So now that I'm thinking about it in that way and acting like I got some good sense, I'll probably take that second color that I'm going to put on this seat and do it next, and then finish the rest of the chair in this Stormy Seas. This is more gray than I figured it would be, but gray is so in right now. The thing when you're going to be distressing anyway is that you can leave a little bit of your wood showing through, and that's a kind of a cool thought here too. Cool way to make things easier on myself. I know my big old head's probably in your way, but I'm not going to be at this long. Get in that hole. Okay. Don't want to have any runs. Get good and close to this edge. Let me set that aside and open. I decided on just a little bit of a lighter blue tone, and this one's called Savannah Mist. And I'm going to use my number 8 Paint Pixie on this. It's one of my favorite brushes. I can't decide whether I love the 8 or the 12 more. But I didn't bring a 12 with me today. I'm using what I got. You would think, since I have this cool new toolbox to keep my stuff in, that it would always be loaded, but I'm right in the middle of doing that bedroom redo project at home. So I've got some of my tools out there. Okay, let's go. Get her done. This would probably look really cute if a person wanted to take the time to do part of the spindles in the light color and be all decorative in that fashion, but that's not what I'm going for. But if you wanted to go for that on your chair, send me a picture, because I would be excited to see it, because I do think it would look cute. And when you send me pictures, I do have quite a few people send me pictures. Let me know if I can share them on the page, because it does help other people to see your projects too, not just my projects, but to see your projects too. So when you do share them with me, let me know if it's okay for me to, you know, share them and to tag you in it or not, if it, you know, if it allows that, because I surely would never, if you're just sending it to me for me to see, wouldn't want to share it. But if you don't mind and, you know, you feel like, hey, that, you know, this might help somebody, I learned a lesson with it, or I enjoyed it, or it turned out better than I expected, all those things that can happen to us, then let me know and DM it to me, and I will be happy to share it. Hey, Candy. Hi. Now that motivates me because I wanted to be hurried up. Impress Candy with how fast I could put some paint on this chair. But instead, I'm a-jacking my jaws. I got a little bit of this lighter blue paint right there. It shouldn't bother me, but it's bothering me. So I'm going to take one of these little brushes that I had out from the pumpkins yesterday and touch that up. Same thing right here. I should probably do this on both sides because it's going to be hard to get the bigger brushes down on this. I've got too much water on this brush. We could ombre it, pretend I wanted that, right? That's something really cool that you learn as you go along with this stuff too. Painting and doing artistic stuff is, nobody knows how it's supposed to come out. Everything you do, you just pretend you wanted it that way and they think you're a genius. I do love the way that ombre though. Just wanting to get right here close to the seat, and I'm going to switch back to my bigger brush so that I can have at it. Already like it. I didn't even know I was going to like it this much. Okay. I can't, well, I've got this tablet going. I was going to say, I can't really see the comments. Let's see if I can bring it up here on my tablet. I sure do miss Jewel being up here helping me. Come on, Terry. Burning the clock. Oh, yeah, I'm sideways again. I don't know what to do, y'all. This is just, hey, Shanna, and hey, Carlin. I don't know what to do about the sideways videos. Let's just hope we can figure that out later. I'll contact Facebook because I'm not doing anything different than I've ever done before, and believe me, I'm not standing on my side. And on my camera, I'm right side up, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to switch to my little paint pixie brush because it holds more paint. Please don't want me to bring this thing home afterwards or have me want that. My husband sees this chair come back in our house, he's going to think I've lost our mind because he thought it should have went into the garbage can 15 years ago. It's amazing how much paint this paint pixie brushes hold. I don't like having to dip and re-dip so much. I'm not usually a very big distresser, so this is new to me. And I wanted to have a sanding pad, of which I have dozens. Oh wait, I know, I've got some of the Dixie Belle ones out front. I'll run out there and get me one in a minute. And say I couldn't find one, so I was just going to use sandpaper, of which I'm very heavy-handed with. I forgot, I think I have, if they haven't sold out, I have some of the Dixie Belle ones out front. Pretty color. I hope it's coming through to y'all as pretty as it is on here. Didn't expect to like it so much. It's not always a good thing to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like I'm doing there, but this wood is so old and so dry that there's a lot of cracks and crevices in it, and if I don't go back and forth a good bit, I'm not going to get in those crevices. So you just adapt to whatever you need to adapt to when you're working on something like this and keep on going. There's a setting on your phone. The last time my videos were going sideways like this, somebody told me about a setting on your phone that says, like, always lock the camera into this position or something like that. And I thought they were such a genius because it was, thanks Carlin, you had smart turn the phone. And it fixed it. But this time I went on there and checked that. I mean, of course, I remembered it, and I went on there and checked it, and it didn't work. I mean, I'm starting out exactly how I've always started out with the phone horizontal, which is how it's supposed to be for Facebook. And my phone still is horizontal, but when you click go live, all of a sudden it says you can't turn your phone once you've gone live. And I'm like, I haven't touched it. Come on, Facebook. What you thinking? And then I just sort of wiggle it this way just a tad, and that goes away, and then my phone's exactly how it was 10 minutes ago, and the video starts. So until somebody tells me or I see it on the thing there, I think, oh, I got it going on, I've got this fixed. Nope, I'm sideways. I'm sideways again. You know, this is a personal preference at this point as to whether to paint the underneath of the chair. At this point, right this second, think I'm not going to do it. And I was shocked at that the first time I started thinking about it and discussing it with other furniture painters and stuff like that. And very, very few do. But I looked at our furniture at home that I bought at the local furniture store for, over $1,000 for the set of tables, and they're not even stained all the way in the drawers. You would think a big famous company, I don't know if it's Ashley or Boyd Hill or one of the, just famous furniture companies, would be what my husband would say, take some pride in their work and do the whole thing. Nope, absolutely not. It's not stained or finished in any of the areas, like behind the drawers and deep inside there and all that, and areas that aren't seen, they don't finish them. So I'm like, well, if that's the way if that's the industry standard, who am I to question that, right? I may or may not, because I am a little bit like my husband and want things to be done. I may or may not come back right now I'm just wanting to see how fast I can get this done. But I may or may not come back and paint the underside of this chair. I may just like put a secret message under there or something. Like, sorry this underneath ain't filled with paint, but it's filled with love. How about that? I think that sometimes that we're harder on, you know, people who are doing this out of love and out of fun than we are on, you know, professionals that do it for a living. We just accept their standards as, they don't finish them on the inside. And when we have somebody hand making it, we're like, oh no, she didn't finish that on the inside. And we would never criticize a company. We would think, oh, they know what to do and they're just doing it right. But with other people, we're just so much more critical. That's kind of sad. I think we're most critical to ourselves. Did I get that? I am wanting to make sure I don't have drips and runs. Dizzy. Maybe you're not supposed to hang your head upside down after age 55. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. Rain. It's raining? No, it looks like it's about to. Oh, for goodness. I hope it doesn't. Somebody just came and bought coffee table and 2 end tables that I had painted, and I just put a second coat, but then it found out they have children and pets and stuff, so I went in and put a second coat of gator hide on it real quick this morning, and I surely wouldn't want that to get wet. They drove in from Manny. Which is about an hour from here, I guess. I'm trying not to put this on too. Oh, I hear thunder. Please let those people get home. I don't want them to be disappointed. Go around. That'll be easier at this point. Man, this chair is soaking up this paint. It was thirsty, which is good for me because that's going to make it be easier to get the distressed look I was going for without having to do. Man, it's thundering. Can y'all hear that? That was unexpected. Or for me, it was unexpected. I haven't watched the weather since 2003. May not be unexpected for everybody else but me. Looking, making sure I didn't like miss a whole piece of a leg or something. That has happened. I just wanted to, my goal, I'm going to tell y'all what my goal was. My goal was to finish this whole chair from cleaning to dry, including the stencils and the painting and the distressing in an hour. That was my goal, to see if I could do it. Now what am I going to do? Now what am I going to do? There you go. there's a will, there's a way. I meant to bring the fan in here and have a little bit of breeze going. I thought that might help it to dry a little faster too. Please let me finish within an hour. It makes me feel so good when I meet a goal. Do y'all set goals for yourself like that? Challenges to do things in a, there, I missed that one. To do things in a quicker manner than maybe you should. Thinking about trying to challenge myself with something like 30 pieces in 30 days or something. I did that year before last with paintings. I promised myself I would paint on canvas, paint a painting every day for 30 days. I did it in June, and I did it, but some nights I was tired and I didn't want to, and they are pretty simple for those days. Sometimes maybe I just painted an emoji smiley face, but by golly, I sat down at my table with my paintbrush and I did it. And I met my goal and I felt good about myself. But I also promised myself I wouldn't do that again, so maybe I shouldn't do. Maybe I can do 30 lives in 30 days and then if I don't like finish a piece, I can work on it some the next day. I could probably do that. I've got all kinds of backgrounds painted at home on canvases that are ready for me to put some kind of art on. I like to do it that way. Knock out a few backgrounds and let me see where that then leads me. And I wanted to work on one last night, but I was tired. By the time I got home and cooked dinner and all that, last night I'm like, oh, tonight's not the night. Maybe tonight will be the night. Or it may be Friday. I could probably, I've had some friends who challenged themselves to 30 lives in 30 days, but I don't know if any of them ever finished it, and I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. I can chew a lot, but I don't want to disappoint myself and not meet my goal. These little spindles are taking longer than I anticipated, but I'm so worried about drips and things like that. I'm trying to really pay close attention to make sure I'm getting a decent amount on there and getting all over the surface without leaving any excess. Because even if you're rushing, it's important to, you know, do your best. You know, I can use both hands. I'm ambidextrous. I would wonder if I could paint with both hands. How cool would that be? I don't know if my brain could process that, painting with both hands at the same time. But I would be willing to try just for the fun of it. Here's where I'm going to need that little bitty brush again. picture. Oh, it's thundering out there. Okay, I think I'm on home stretch. I'll have to peep under from the other side and see if I got all that round thing. Oh, I splashed a little bit of the darker blue on there. Did I get all that? I did. It was running. Oh, I didn't get all of this one. Looking good. I'm excited. Let's get these brushes in there. This is going to be my first time to try to do the stencil using this Dixie Belle paint and using this chopped off brush. Where did I put the stencil? There it is. How smart was that doing that first? It's all dry. Well, that's coming off right there, but it probably had water on my fingers. I picked out some bright colors. I probably could have stayed with some neutrals, and now that I'm looking at it like this, it probably would have made sense to do a black stencil and put some pretty French words on there or something. But that's not me. Let's see what I can do. Oh, how about that? A package within a package. Please let this work. If not, I'm going to go back and paint over it and get it like this again. What color? Randy Miller, I'm using Stormy Seas by Dixie Belle as the darker color. I'm using Savannah Mist as the lighter color. And right now with this stencil, I am going to use Flamingo, Peony, and Plum Crazy. This is, I don't know what to do. I wanted one to sort of cross the barriers of both, but because there's a little bit of a dip in the seat, it's not going to lay down flat if I do. What do I do? Move it forward. Okay, I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to go with the Flamingo in the front. And I probably have somewhere around this joint some stencil brushes, but oh no, I'm going to cut up one of these. I'm going to try to just dip it out of the lid piece here. That looks thick. And I'm not taping it down. I'm just being brave. This is bravery. Oh, there's the glove I was looking for the white lightning. Okay. I'm gonna sand over this a tad in a minute anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm still dabbing it. I'm dabbing it instead of going across it. I don't know why, because that just seems like what I should do, so that's why I'm going to trust myself and do it. And I'm not going to worry about it being an equal amount of intensity of the paint over the entire thing. It's going to be okay with me if, say, some areas are lighter and some areas are darker, because that'll go with the distressed look of the piece. Or that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Now I'm wanting to go against what I just said and paint like a paintbrush, so be patient with me. This is taking too long for me. I hear the rain. I'm still, whenever I'm dipping my brush in that paint, I'm knocking it off, a lot of the excess off on my drop cloth over here before I put it on the stencil, because I'm still afraid I'm going to get too much on there and ruin what I'm going for. Y'all ever think about songs and not know why? Now I'm thinking, remember this song, it's King of the Road. Trailers for sale or rent. Now you know why I'm not a singer. Guess it had to do with thinking about the trailer that this came out of. The lady's name was Adrienne Hatton. Adrienne's a real nice lady. She lived next door to us for years and years, and she moved to Michigan. And her property adjoined our property. So we bought it, but then we gave the mobile home away that was on there to a man down the road who owned the mobile home park, Mr. Gomez. And so now it's just part of our yard. My husband's workshop is built on Adrienne's old property, and his sawmill and all that's over there, and it's actually the area that I look at when I look out my window every morning when I put my makeup on. It's a beautiful property. She had some very nice oak trees and things over there, and it stays mowed pretty well, or it stays mowed very well, but you know how some grass looks prettier than others. Adrienne had nice grass. Yes, ma'am, I am live, but
Go back this way.
okay. You could still ask me a question if you got
Okay,
one.
oh, I'm sorry. She said she's dropping this off for you, or?
Oh, yeah, $15, right? Thank you. Yeah, just give her the money out of the register as a payout. Yes, please. Thank you. I appreciate that. Woo! I did it. How about that? Ripped it off like a Band-Aid. Did you see that? That felt good. Somebody had one of those. It's a thing like Fitbit. Could you see it? Somebody had and I went over both sides with it, a thing like Fitbit, but it looks like a leaf, so it's more like a regular bracelet. And they were selling it on the marketplace, and they were coming to DeRitter today. They live on Fort Polk. And I'm like, oh yeah, if you bring it by my work, I will, anybody will pay you. And I guess I should. And then I came in here and went live with y'all instead of telling the girls in there to expect it. Okay, what do you think? I think we should put the Plum Crazy toward the back and the Peony toward the front, so it's a neutral color, a darker color on the darker, and a lighter color on the lighter. And I'm not going to put the whole stencil in those areas, so that's why I'm not going to worry as much about it bowing. I'm going to, and I'm not going to rinse that stencil after. That paint's going to dry and we're going to be just fine. And all I did was rub this back and forth real hard over my drop cloth here to get the majority. I think our power's fixing to go out. I don't want any of that peach color to get on anything else. I think that might be gonna stay. Please let that stay. Okay, I'm going with the front. Oh, please let it open. I used this on a set of nightstands recently, and I thought it was so pretty. I'm gonna do the same thing. See, that part's thicker in the lid. I'm gonna use that. Off pounce. And please let this work because it is bowed up over here a little bit. Man, I'm scared. I'm scared. Oh, do it. Go for it. Don't be scared. Or if you're scared, say you're scared, but don't let it slow you down. I don't have a good feeling about this. I'm knocking so much paint off over here that I'm not having any left on my brush when I get up here. I'm just gonna leave it on. Oh, you can do it. I'm blowing my hour up. I want to be done. My mind's still going. Trailers for sale. Which is 15 cents. When I was a little girl, that was one of my favorite songs. Who knows why? You can do it. Like my arms aren't long enough to reach back there good. And I'm not wanting to let go here to touch there. I have to. Oh, it moved. It moved. This is why they tell you to take this stuff down. We're gonna pull this off. I can't sit here and panic over it. And it looks just fine. Hold it up. Can you see that? Looks like it's that way intentionally. My mom would have worried to death about that and took her little brush. Please don't let me do it, but I'll probably, it's a possibility. I do have a little of her blood in me, and went back there and fixed that and made it look like the stencil worked the whole time. But she would have never wanted the thing done in an hour like me. Or wipe some of this extra paint off of here. Not because I care if the paint's on here, but because I don't want any of it to smear on this front area where I'm fixing to do. Okay. What do y'all think about right there? I think about right there. But I didn't open the new paint. Okay, this is Peony. I'm so excited. How long have I been on here? Does anybody know? Am I even close to doing it within an hour? Look at This is a pretty color. I would have called this flamingo, but I'm not the paint namer. But you know what? Dixie Belle Paint Company is out of Florida, and I've only seen plastic flamingos from the dollar store. They've probably seen real ones, so they probably knew which paint to name flamingo. Oh, the thunder. Come on, I'm so excited. Something I recently found out that I didn't know is that Dixie Belle paint does not require a top coat. So you could be, since this is going to be distressed anyways, I'm not going to worry about it, but if it wasn't and it was some other kind of woohoo thing on here, I would worry a little bit about the seat getting worn or whatever, but I'm fixing to wear the seat down with a sand and block anyways. So, but anyways, it doesn't, it's an acrylic based paint, and even though it has some chalk and minerals and things in it which make it work like a chalky paint, it's I'm going to dry while I talk. It's actually does not require a top coat. So as soon as this dries a little bit, I'm going to sand and distress and get down to the wood on this pad, and I'm going to be done with this chair. And I'm not going to put a top coat on it. And I'm so pleased how this came out. Wish I knew what my time was. Please don't let me get heavy-handed with the sanding. I'm gonna go get it. Give me a sec. This was a blessing to remember there's something here. I don't know what grit this is. Maybe a 120, maybe a 200 for all I know. It's definitely not an 80. It's too coarse for that. But it's not a, I don't know what it is. But anyways, it's $1.50 and Dixie Belle sells them, and there's a foam on one side and this on the other side. So, okay. Thinking about areas where this would normally, come on, girl, think about what you're doing, where this would normally have some wear. I'm going to go over those. So that would be these rounded edges, the front piece where you slide on and off, right here in the seat where the, down the thing that I just want all that trouble putting on here. Seat. There would be some right here where my hands were just at. There's people putting their feet on it. Out of corners. Center of the back. This corner, this edge. I done wore that down. Back here in the back. These sides a tad. This corner. here in the split. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put just a tad of wax on right there just so I can see what it's gonna look like. Oh, Lord help me, I've never used this. Should I use the grunge gray? I've never used the grunge gray. What do you think? Is it going to grunge it up too much? It looks like pudding, and I just mashed the lid getting it off. Don't know my own strength. Thank you, Randy. Okay, what am I going to do? I don't want to use my clear brush. I don't want to use my dark brush. Please don't make me regret using my white brush. Okay. I would normally put a little bit of clear wax on before I went with the dark wax, but because I'm trying to go grungy with this anyways, I'm not going to worry about it. Just overdone it there a little bit on the light color. If you get too much of it, like I possibly just did, another option is to come back with some clear wax and erase some of that, but I'm not doing that. I'm letting this baby be who it wants to be. I shall be the judge of no chair. I like it. Not a whole lot of that came off, but a little did. I'm going to turn it over. I am going to get a little bit of clear wax. I lie like a dog. Here with some clear to erase a little bit some of that gray, grunge gray, because I think I had too much, so I'm going to erase a little bit. Go back with my rag. I think our power's fixing to go out. It just blinked again. I'm done. I'm done with this chair, y'all, and I don't know how long I've been, but I'm going to pretend it was an hour. It was pretty quick. So, there you go. Ta-da! From nasty, dirty, ugly, spent half of its life in a barn, to a little bit crazy and whimsical, still with the split down the middle, probably pinch you right in the butt if you sat on it. There it is. This is the chair that you bring to Thanksgiving dinner and you let your great Uncle Harry that acts like a jerk sit in. Maybe it'll pinch his butt. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Carlin. I tried to be fast. That was my goal. Bye.